Okay, this is the pink book. Was going to be the common test, but we've done the common test on Monday. And we're going to do a different common test. So we've got computer games. Hone and Louisa researched the computer game playing habits of students. Louisa interviewed 42, so we had 42 randomly chosen Year 10 students. 30 of these admitted to playing computer games every day. So 30 out of 42 played computer games every day. Assuming everyone answered honestly, obtain a 90% confidence interval for the proportion. Now, as soon as I've seen the word proportion, I know that I'm going to be dealing with. And I also have got this success. The chance of success was 30 out of 42 of all Year 10 students who play computer games every day. So we go to our stats. Yep. Confidence intervals. The Z, and which one do I push? 1p. And my confidence level is 0.9. And what's the X? It's actually 30, yeah. And so 30 were playing computer games every day out of the 42. And we hit execute. And we get these numbers. So we know that our mean is going to be somewhere between our 0.5996, our mean, and that next number is, on the right, 0.8289. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah. We can see the proportion is 0.7143, and it's plus or minus either side. So if I added these two together and divide by 2, I'd actually get that number. And I think, yeah, we should put pi instead of the mean. But the answer schedule actually had both. I think pi is more correct because it is actually a proportion, isn't it? Or a probability. Okay, so continuing just doing the easy achieve stuff, we're actually going to jump to question 2 and look at that one. Hone and Louisa wanted to know whether boys spent longer playing computer games than girls. Hone interviewed boys and Louisa interviewed girls. What's happening here when we've got a boys and we've got a girls? We've got 2 samples, yeah. So if we go back to our menu, back to stats, hang on, exit. We're going also, our intervals, we're going to Z, and we're going to go 2 samples, and we're going to make sure that it's variables. So it's asking for a confidence interval of 0.95, so we enter 0.95. What's that funny symbol mean? Standard deviation of the boys. So what's the standard deviation of the boys? 1.7. And what's the standard deviation of the girls? 0.85. What's the mean of the boys? 15.1. What is the number of boys? 38 was our sample size. What is the mean of the girls? And what is the number of girls? 42. So what do we end up with? We've got our negative 0.3985 and we've got 0.7985. Okay, that's fine. We've got our 2 numbers, but what do they mean? If I've got that in the middle, what are those 2 numbers? What the difference between the means? So that's the mean of the first one minus the mean of the second one. So we're using those numbers, but this is very important that we understand what to put there. Okay, so that's the difference between the means That's the amount. What does this mean? 0 is actually included in it, so it could be either way, couldn't it? In actual fact, you can't guarantee that the boys or the girls are better. Are you?
The confidence interval includes 0, which means we cannot say there is a difference between the two samples.
Beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to go to the last achieved thing. Remember, you need 2 out of the 3 to actually pass. So we are looking at question 3. One popular game involved building a city up to a certain population level. Hona and Louisa interviewed 150 students. So we had 150. What would that be if it's 150 students? That was our N, or our total, yep. Sample size, and found that the mean length of time taken to build the city to this level was 28.3 online hours, and the sample standard deviation was 2.8 hours. So that was our standard deviation and that was our mean. What are we asked? A 90% confidence interval for the mean length of time taken to build the city up. So what are we looking at here? Have we got one sample, 2 samples, or are we looking at proportion? We've got one sample and we've got variable. We've got a confidence interval of 90 was in the question. What's the standard deviation? 2.8. What's the mean? 28.3. And what's our sample size? 150. So we get these 2 values. We've got the 27.924 and 28.676. But what are those 2 values sort of mean, if you like?
90% chance that the mean length of time taken to build up the city is between blah 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 and blah blah.
Yeah, so what am I going to put in here? What symbol?
Mean.
The mean. So I can put that, or what's the difference between this and this?
One is it one expected mean and the other one?
Okay, so which one's the sample mean?
X.
So that's the sample mean. And what's this one? Population mean. Okay? So we're actually estimating the sample mean being between those 2. Okay? So we're checking our answers and that one is also correct. So you needed 2 out of 3 of those 3 in order to pass.